Hello, welcome pirate fans. I'm back again, and this time we're going to talk about one of the most famous, most interesting, most badass female pirates, Mary Read. Mary Read was this English pirate that sailed the Caribbean with the likes of Calico Jack Rackham and was a compatriot of Anne Bonny. Those two were thick as thieves and great friends, as well as some people have accounts of them being lovers, but we'll get into that in a bit. On the book front, I've just been writing a lot. I'm over 70,000 words at this point, so I'm real excited about the getting towards the end of this book. I think it's going to be a fun adventure ride, showcasing these great pirates of the Caribbean of the 1718s, the Golden Age, as it is called. So let's get a little background on our pirate for the day, which is Mary Read. So she was an English pirate, and she grew up in England as this is an interesting story because Mary and Anne Bonny, their paths to piracy are somewhat similar, and the reason that they were accepted on board ships and how they became to align themselves with all of these male pirates of this time. So Mary, when her mom became pregnant with her, she had just lost her husband, and she had just lost her child, which was a boy. And she had no means to support herself at that time. So here she is, a pregnant woman who had a child after her husband died, so out of wedlock. And she had this plan that she was going to pass off this newly birthed girl as her son that passed away. So, there's only maybe 9, 10, 11, 12 months difference in age between these two children. And so she goes to her ex-husband, the husband that passed away. She goes to his mother and passes little Mary Read off as this little boy. And everybody bought it. I don't know how that, I guess her mother-in-law didn't feel like changing the diapers at any time. So she continued to support Mary she continued to support Mary and her mom while Mary was growing up. And the disguise was great. She just continued to dress as a boy as she got older. And then when she was about 12, 13 years old, she started to work as a footman to make money to support her mom and herself. And then later on, as she got older, she ended up joining the British military as a male. She continued to pass this gender change off to everyone. And so she ended up joining the British military and then moved into a place called Flanders military, and where she was a fantastic soldier. She exhibited great bravery, but she did end up meeting this young, dashing Flemish soldier, and they fell in love. They were tent mates, and eventually Mary decided to reveal to this young man that she was not a girl. She would kind of awkwardly, her breast would be revealed, and the young man was intrigued and confused, but they were friends. They were friends first, and so the two of them fell in love, and they kept her gender unexposed because they didn't want to risk her position in the army as well as his. And so when this man would go off to different battles, she volunteered and she would fight alongside this man very bravely, and she became just a decorated soldier. And so then once they decided to reveal Mary's gender and their true feelings to each other, and they decided to leave the military, and instead of what Mary was hoping for, was that he would make his wife, which happened. And so they got married, and there were some marital gifts that were bequeathed to them. And so they moved to the Netherlands, and they bought this inn near a castle. And they were successfully running this business together. And from what I understand, this inn, I kept looking to find this inn, but the name of it still exists, but it was called the Three Horseshoes. And so there's a couple other, there's a really old beer company that has that same name from around that area. So I can't really tell if what came first, Mary and her husband's inn, or this really centuries old beer company under the name of the Three Horseshoes. So then they were living their life, and but shortly after they were married and all this happened, he died as well. And so she was again without a husband, and went into despair. And so she decided to go back into the life that she knew, which was military life. So she crewed on several ships, and she was on a privateering ship. And once again, she was in men's clothing to pass herself off as a man, and doing a fantastic job. And she ended up in the Caribbean after one of the ships that she had been not an officer, but she was a sailor on, was captured by pirates. And what happens, happens all the time during that day, is that the pirates would always offer the choice for the sailors and the crew members to join the piracy, which she did. And she fit right in with these pirates, and they ended up sailing through Jamaica, and then eventually down into the Caribbean, where she had met Calico Jack. And Calico Jack took her on as a crew member, and she was on board this ship, and she had met Mary Read, she met Anne Bonny. Mary Read met Anne Bonny on this ship with Calico Jack. And at that time, Anne Bonny was also dressed as a man. And the rumor is that only Calico Jack knew that she was a woman, and they were having an affair. Well, it seems that Anne Bonny had taken a liking to Mary Read. They both had red hair. They're both, if they would both be attractive women of the day, and probably in some ways attractive men, the way that they were dressed up, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, but let's just say they took a liking to each other, and especially Anne towards Mary. Well, Jack Rackham becomes completely jealous and is going to kill Mary Read, challenge Mary Read to a duel over the affection of Anne Bonny. Well, then they decide that they would reveal that Mary Read was actually a woman. And so then it's not clear whether the whole crew knew this or it was just revealed to Rackham, but then after that, they sailed together and had many adventures. Mary ended up finding love of somebody else on the ship of Calico Jack. And so Mary kind of fell in love with this sailor, but this sailor was not your typical pirate. He wasn't enjoying pirate life. He had just, once again, similar to Mary, he had come on board and given the option to become a pirate rather than be either killed or, beaten and sent adrift. So he was a rather unwilling participant in this whole piracy. And so he actually had a lot of derogatory things to say about pirating and their pirate life. And these were getting back to the other crew members. And Mary, who had fallen in love with him, she kept on this ruse with him that she also was not into piracy. But unfortunately, this young man that she had fallen in love with was maybe a little too talkative about being against the pirate life. And a man had challenged her lover in a duel to the death. So now Mary kind of thought that her new lover was not going to do well in this duel, was going to be the loser in this. So instead, she intervened and challenged this pirate to a duel before he was able to kill her lover. And so in this battle between the pirate that wanted to kill her lover and Mary Read, she used, and this is maybe a rumor, maybe this really happened, but she exposed her breast to him when they were in battle. And this man catching a glimpse of her breast was, he was it confused him, right? He was shocked by it, and Mary took that shock and was able to dispense this pirate. She killed him in this duel and killed him, and so it ended in death for that one, and Mary ended up saving her lover from probably a certain death. So that was the thing about these women, is they were fighters and they were ruthless, and Anne Bonny and Mary Read, they had a reputation for this. They were described as just swearing like men and cursing and ready and willing to do anything to board another ship. They would torture, beat up, whatever it was, kill people. They were right involved in this. There was nothing different than any of the other pirates. In fact, they were probably much better pirates than all of the men that were on these ships. And there is this account that towards the end, when Mary and Anne and Calico Jack were on the coast of Jamaica, and they were being hunted by, pirate hunters and the authorities and things like that. They were partying one night, and these pirate hunters caught up to them, and the men and women were quite inebriated from a night of partying. And when the ship attacked them, the men all hid down underneath in the hull of the ship. And Mary Read and Anne Bonny took their pistols and their cutlasses, and they were ready to fight. They were willing to fight off this whole entire ship. In fact, Mary took her pistol and called all of the men down underneath cowards and shot her pistol. And in fact, it's told that she actually killed one of her own crew members during that exchange. And the ship was boarded, and the women fought these men, but of course they were overwhelmed. There was just too many of them. There was only 2 of them against probably 70, 80 men. So they were subdued, and they were all captured on board the ship. Calico Jack, all of his pirates. And it had also been, this is documented, that when Calico Jack was going to be hanged, she had said to him that if he had fought like a man, that he wouldn't be dying like a dog. Tough lady. So Anne Bonny and Mary Read, they were also caught during all of this and arrested, and they did not get hung like the rest of the pirates during this trial, but they claimed their bellies, and that meant that they were saying that they were pregnant. Mary was claiming to be pregnant by her lover, that she had saved his life, and Anne Bonny being claiming she was pregnant by Jack Rackham. And so the courts took pity on them and just sent them to jail. Now, of course, as all of these stories, when it comes to what information I'm giving you, I'm not going to say what happened to them in the rest of their life. You can figure that out through your own searches. But in mine, Mary and Anne, they go forward in their adventuring career, and that is my story that I'm telling. So I hope you enjoyed this story about story and history about Mary Read. She's an amazing character, and I can't wait to to tell you about the next couple of characters as well. There's just, you know, these people of this time are just so interesting and colorful. That, you know, what an amazing time period, and all of this pirating and adventure and stories are all coming out of a very narrow 2-year window, really just 17, 18. So it's amazing during that year, all of the things that had happened in the Caribbean and the Americas, and consequently in England as well. So there you have it. I hope that you are out there living the life of a pirate, and I will be talking to you soon. Thanks so much for giving me a little bit of your time.